This is a weird video because instead of telling you something, I'm going to ask you something. I need your opinion on something. I'm quite split between a couple of cameras and I don't know how to go about making that decision. So I thought, why don't I ask you guys? So for some time, for the last month or so, I've been thinking about buying either the XC4 or the XS10 Fuji. Right now, the primary reason for buying this camera would be to kind of do casual photography, street photography, family photography, and all that. And if possible, maybe it's a light setup. I can probably, when I go out, I'll probably do a few vlogs as well. So yeah, that sort of a setup is something I'm looking for. But I'm quite confused because they're so close yet so dissimilar. So let's discuss. I have listed down a few sort of parameters through which I could look at the camera. I'm going to share those with you, and let's have a conversation. If you don't mind, do share your opinions. I'd love to kind of make up my mind in the next 7 to 10 days maximum, by the next couple of weeks, and I would just have to make a decision and go and get it. So the first criteria is a parameter is just to look at the buttons, right? XC4 has no rear dial and it's got only three customizable buttons. XS4 is more of a full-bodied camera. It's got the front dial, the back dial, and it's got all of those buttons. Video record button, dedicated video record, dedicated ISO button, and all those buttons um, a AF lock button, all of those buttons you get with the XS10. So it's just easier to set up the XS10 and use it. And similarly, the XS10 has a nice grip, almost like the Z50. The XC4 is a bald camera. It has got no grip at all. But at the same time, because the XC4 has no grip, it's much lighter. It's almost 100 grams lighter. But I think it's also designed differently. It serves a different purpose. It looks really stunningly beautiful. The XC4 looks so beautiful. So although I get the grip with the XC4, but I don't get that look. It looks like any other camera. It's the DSLR style camera that I get in the XS10. Now, one reason why the grip was removed from the XC4 was to style it better, to style it in a certain way. But another important reason was simply to shave off more weight. And if you look at the XS10, it weighs about 465 grams. The XC4 is about 100 grams less than that. But if you add an optional grip, you get an optional grip and a thumb rest from Fuji. If you get the Fuji version of that, it weighs about 120 grams and plus some. So it's going to be heavier, about 30-35 grams heavier over the XS10 if you are to sort of add the external grip on the XC4 body, which is a bit confusing because then you can add the grip to make it more convenient to hold on to the camera, but then you lose the advantage of using a 350 gram camera, almost like that. you then you're in the ballpark of 500 grams, which is any other camera. Now granted that you have the choice of adding the grip or not adding the grip, depending on the situation and what you like in a certain situation. I can always remove the grip and go out and shoot, or when I want to add the grip because the lens is slightly heavier, I can add the grip and just you know set it up according to my choice. But it's still something that is confusing me a little bit because I want, what would have been nice is to follow the XC3 design. Some texture on the body would have been nice. It makes you feel more, sure about holding the camera. Now, the fourth parameter that I found very interesting was the fact that the XS10 has IBIS, and it comes with a kit lens, with the 18 to 55 kit lens, which has got optical stabilization. But if you look at the XC4, it comes with a 27 mm f2.8. That lens is not stabilized and the body doesn't have IBIS, so you have no stabilization if you go for the XC4 on the kit lens, which is the 27 mm prime. But if you get the XS10, you get a stabilized body, so all your lenses are now stabilized. But you also get the kit lens, which has got optical stabilization. And frankly, I think IBIS helps because you can slow the shutter speed down to minimum, and you can take advantage of that in low light situations. But not only that, also when you want a little bit of movement in your shots, you want to show the motion blur a little bit, creatively speaking. And also the fact that I have an XT3 which does not have an IBIS, so it would be nice to have a camera with IBIS. So that's something sort of is something that's playing on my mind now. eh, the other thing that's very interesting, and a point of difference between the two cameras, is the way the screens are implemented. If you look at the XS10, it's got a nice flip out screen. And if you look at the XC4, that's got a flip out frontward sort of screen. You can see it. The Z50 has a flip down screen, and it faces you. The XC4 has a flip up screen, and you can see yourself. Now, it's an interesting implementation. I think it's slightly more convenient compared to the Z50, but you can't shoot vertically. For example, if you have the flip out screen, you can open the flip out screen like this, and then hold the camera vertically, and then I can see what's going on when I want to take a low angle vertical shot. So I will miss the convenience of shooting low angle vertical shots with the XC4. I don't miss that with the XT3, and I won't miss that with the XS10. So that's something to consider. I think it's up to me to make a choice, but I think I like shooting vertically, and I often actually go down and shoot. So now, if you look at the lens, you get the 27 mm f2.8 kit lens with XC4, which is nice. It's now weather sealed, so if I get that lens, then I can use that on the XT3, which is also weather sealed body. Now, the XC4 is not weather sealed, the XS10 is not weather sealed, and you get the 18 to 55 kit lens with the XS10. What is surprising is that you get double stabilization with the XS10 and the kit lens. You've got no stabilization with the XC4 and the kit lens. At the same time, you get a kit lens with the XC4 that's weather sealed, but the camera is not weather sealed. Uh, it's a bit funny, but now if you look at the price, where I am, which is in India, I am for the price of the XS10 with the 18 to 55 kit, I can get the XC4 and the 27 mm, and then I can buy the kit lens 18 to 55 separately, and it'll come to the same cost for me. It'll come to the same price for me. So these are the facts. These are the sort of the parameters that I have sort of put down. And what is important for me is the convenience of shooting every day. The fact that XC4 is pocketable, it looks beautiful. That's something to consider. I have four other cameras: the Z6, the Z6 II, the Z50, and the XT3. Uh, and they are sort of similar cameras. Three of them have nice deep grips, all the Nikons, and the XT3 not too bad. It's also a professional grade camera. Right now, I'm not looking to get a professional camera. I'm just, um, I, I'm sort of, I want something that can be used daily, hassle free. Should come cheap. I don't want to bother too much about protecting I can just take it anywhere, pocketable. So if I look at that, the brief is right for the XC4. But then when I'm spending almost about $1,000 or so, that's what it's going to cost me in India, about $1,100 US dollars equivalent. Um, I feel that if I spend about 350 to 400 US dollars most, I can get the XS10 and the 18 to 55, which is an excellent lens. So I'm a bit confused. Should I go for a better body and the kit lens, or should I go for a body that is slightly compromised in terms of buttons and layout and all those things, but very sexy to look at, very stylish, very pocketable, very light, but with the same price, at the same price of an XS10 and the kit, I get to have two lenses: the 27 mm prime, which is equivalent of a 40 mm, a focal length that I really like shooting a 40 mm lens, just right in between 35 and 50. It's really um, it's a proper normal focal length, you know, so I really like that. So I get that lens, and then I can also afford the kit lens at 18 to 55 zoom. That's an excellent lens, but I don't have it. I can also access that with the same money. So that's where I am, and I can't make a decision. I feel that the moment I think of the XC4, I feel that as if I'm not using my money well, because I'm letting go of a much better camera overall. But when I'm thinking of the XS10, I think I'm looking for a similar camera, a camera that's very similar to my other cameras. You know, it's got nice grip. It's almost fully spec'd. It's not weather sealed, but almost fully spec'd. It feels like a professional camera. It looks like one. The character of it is very similar to a Z50 or a Z6. Similar, I'm not saying the same character, but it just the I think the user experience is not going to be very different except for that flip out screen. But the XC4 is different. It's got a very different flavor, different character, different presence. And I'm thinking, is that experience more important? Also, the fact that with the same money I get to have two lenses. So that's where I am. Do share your views. I would like to sort of resolve this conflict in my mind in the next 5 days, 10 days at max, and then I would just pick one and go with it. So if by that time, if you're able to share your thoughts with me in the comment section, I'll be very happy. So that's about it, guys. See you very soon with another video.